3 Super Bowl wins in the last 5 seasons, and now Andy Reid is sticking around until 2029. He got a new contract extension. Chiefs have not announced the terms of the deal, but he reportedly is going to be the highest paid coach in the NFL. The Chiefs have also extended team president Mark Donovan and GM Brett Veach. Kansas City Chiefs fans keeping the band back together.
As they should.
A couple more Super Bowl runs in them, probably.
As they should.
So much for Reid walking away, huh?
Well,
could have gone out on top.
Well, they're still on top. Belichick, you could argue, after Brady, could have given it a year and made Mac Jones a Pro Bowler, split, and said, hey, I didn't stay around, but I made Mac Jones a Pro Bowler.
I think the Belichick-Brady is more of, I'm going to prove I can do it without Tom. I don't know. There's nothing to prove here.
No, so pride, again, gets in the way.
Well, yeah, right? What do you mean pride? You talk about on the show for years. Who was more important, Belichick or Brady? That's a normal conversation. I'm not surprised Belichick wanted to stick around. Are you?
No, I understand, but he was 70, and Tom did win a Super Bowl somewhere else. You could have sucked it up and said,
that certainly hurts.
This isn't a great look. I think I'm going to exit stage right. I mean, again, at practice, if you were watching at practice and you watched Mac Jones and you had Tom, did you look and evaluate and say, yeah, that's not Tom? We got ourselves a guy.
In year one, Mac Jones was kind of good.
But he was kind of bratty, and he wouldn't take to hard coaching, and it turned off teammates. The opposite of Tom. So if you evaluate and practice based on personality, what you see, could you have not said, this ain't going to work?
This might be a whole new generation of non-Tom Brady type quarterbacks. Hard coaching.
Well,
we'll see with the transfer portal.
When I see these young quarterbacks, I think they want to be coached. I think the young athletes are great. I think they want to be coached. I think all great athletes, my entire life, want to be coached hard. There's a lot of posers out there you think are great and they're not. But every great athlete, you don't think those Alabama. When you go to Alabama, Georgia, you think you're going to be soft coached. When you go to Harbaugh, you think he's going to soft coach. The hardest coaches, Tom Izzo coaches the hell out of you. Mike Krzyzewski did. These kids want to be. Bill Self is no day at the park. These guys coach hard. Dan Hurley in Connecticut. Like, that's a serious, intense program, and they get great players.
Yeah, the whole, coached hard thing. Okay, so if they want to be coached hard, why is any quarterback transferring if they're not playing after 1 year?
Because
everyone's out.
Well, they're not playing.
Yeah.
There's a difference between not sitting on the bench and being coached hard.
Well, Tom Brady sat on the bench, was coached hard. He was 7th on the depth chart, and slowly worked his way
that
up.
was a different time,
Fine,
certainly.
He gets to New England.
Right.
And he's 3rd string, and, Belichick.
Well, you're not going to retire in the NFL. You can argue Brady would have transferred in college. That's certainly a fair argument. But I will push back, as most kids transferring now are just not getting to play, and they're saying, I got to get snaps to get to the NFL. I totally get that. But I think overwhelming, I don't buy this that the new athletes don't want to be coached hard. They don't care. I think they care more than anybody. I think they take care of their bodies better than old athletes. LeBron takes care of his body way better than Jordan.
Agree. But that's different than coached hard. All right, Andy Reid doesn't coach hard.
Oh, hell, Andy's one of the last guys that used pads. Andy coaches super hard. Andy's a barker and a yeller, and not mean, but Andy is high volume.
Okay, so give me the coach hard guys. Is McVay a coached hard guy?
McVay's intense. I don't know if he's coaching hard. I would say Shanahan doesn't screw around. You're going to hit it practice. Andy Reid coaches hard. Andy coaches hard. But he's respected by the players because they want to be coached hard. Yeah. I think who else coaches hard?
So when you say
all the college guys, all the great college coaches coach hard.
Well, you can ask Brian Kelly.
Dan Hurley at UConn.
Coach hard. I think of Belichick undressing Brady in the film room every week, which is what the story we heard. That to me is coached hard.
That almost felt, if you listen to Patriot players, that almost got personal and petty. That's not coaching hard. That's just being difficult because Tom doesn't want to do everything you say.
Well, it's also telling everybody, listen, I know he's the golden boy, but I'm going to come down hard on him. You know how I'm going to come down on you. You're not the golden boy. To me, that's coaching hard. The pad stuff, But
Andy Reid is not. Andy Reid is.
You think Andy Reid's destroying Patrick Mahomes in the film room?
I think Andy. I know this because I know people in the building. Andy is one of the old school guys. And I say that affectionately, lovingly, is that Andy's not going to, no nonsense with Andy. If you can't get it right, they move off you fast. By the way, Brett Veach signs guys willing to be part of the whole Kansas City story here, part of their DNA is they draft guys that can be coached hard because they're going to be coached hard.
Well, he's going to be around for a while. Next up is Caleb Williams. He's going to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. We won't even mention the odds. They're so astronomical. Expectations are very high. Caleb is setting things even higher, saying he wants to chase the legacy and longevity Tom Brady had in New England.
Now that I want to play at one place for 20 years and chase one guy, number 12, I want a place that loves ball. That's all I've heard about Chicago so far, which is exciting for me because LA was great, but there is probably double digits of teams here. And so, it's a big pool of so you have to be winning championships. You have to be playoffs every year to have, the fans and things like that show up. And so one thing, if Chicago was a place that I've heard that they love ball, which is really exciting for me. It's something that I'm looking forward to and embracing.
Very excited. Looks like a franchise quarterback. Sounds like it. Yeah, I get the attitude I want.
I don't know. What else is he supposed to say there? I think I want to bounce around every 5 years.
But there is value in saying the right stuff.
Yeah, he said the right stuff.
A lot of guys get to that podium, get a little squirrely. Not him.
He said the right thing. Final story is John Lynch had his annual pre-draft news conference yesterday, and one of the big questions was about Brandon Ayuk's contract situation. Speaking of saying the right thing, John Lynch dispelled all the rumors about a potential trade. Here he is.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess that we botched the audio. But anyway, he said, I've communicated on many occasions our wish is that he's here and part of the Niners for the rest of his career. We're working through that. I can say we're having good talks, 49ers and Ayuk, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
For the record, this stuff's not easy. This is not easy stuff. I think it's a perfect time to move him. I think they'll still consider it. But Ayuk's gone public with it. He's gone to Instagram with it. He's talked about it, which adds some contentious nature to the talk. So this isn't easy. I still contend that there's so many receivers in these drafts. You can get a first or a couple seconds for Ayuk. I would consider moving him. With Debo and Kittle and McCaffrey, I think you have to consider. Jennings, by the way, can be productive as well. I think he's a great player. But star wide receivers, the history is they can wear people out over time. And as good as Ayuk is, now they may make an argument. I think if Purdy was Josh Allen or Lamar or Mahomes, was a better quarterback, was Stafford, they'd move off Ayuk. I think the feeling is they've got to protect Purdy with as many weapons as they have because Detroit's coming, Green Bay's coming, the Rams are coming. So I think if you had a quarterback who they felt was a top 5 level talent, you could move off Ayuk and be fine with the weapons you have. But I do think with Purdy, there's a sense that, hey, listen, he's not going to make up a lot of ground if he's going toe-to-toe with Matt Stafford in the playoffs or Jordan Love in the playoffs or Jared Goff in the playoffs or a Super Bowl against Mahomes, Allen, Lamar. So I think part of it is they don't want to move him just because of who the current quarterback is.
Okay, so how's this trade? I'm just spitballing here. Carolina Panthers call up the Niners.
No, I would do it. They need a player so bad.
Carolina has the 33rd overall pick, not a first rounder, and will give you a 2025 third. So a second and a third. Now, the second round pick this year is number 33 overall. That's almost basically a first. Would you do that for Ayuk? So now you're giving.
If I'm Carolina and I have to figure out by Thanksgiving if my quarterback can play, absolutely.
So you have Deontay Johnson, who you got from Pittsburgh, and Ayuk.
Yeah, I have to figure out if Bryce Young can play. You can't just get me Deontay Johnson. So for Carolina, I would make that move in a second. Now, the Niners fans are surely going to say, we want a first,
but the 33rd pick overall and another pick next year, that's not bad.
You have to pay Ayuk. So it's not that he's not.
You get the quarterback on the rookie deal.
You still have to pay him. If I have to pay and give you a first, that works in my favor if I'm Carolina. I'm like, it'd be one thing if I got him for free for 2 years first. But I already have to pay him like a superstar and give you a first. So that works in Carolina's advantage. That's a big part of negotiation. You give me a pick, but do I already have to pay the pick? So it doesn't matter if I'm paying Bryce Young or not. You're going to be paying your wide receiver top of the market money. So to me, Carolina's mission until Thanksgiving, this is their entire mission as a franchise. Can Bryce Young play? Well, you don't know if you have one number 2 receiver. Maybe a 1, probably a 2. Now you give me Ayuk and Deontay Johnson. I have a star 1 and a great 2.
Yeah,
and I know I'll discover by Thanksgiving we got to draft another quarterback, or we got the dude.
Worst case scenario, if it goes sideways again for Carolina, you're drafting top 5, right?
Yeah.
What's the big deal? I think we just made a trade happen. John Lynch, give me credit when you pull the trigger on it.
JNC Consulting delivers. J-Mac with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd